everyone and remember late. My name is Syamsopatiramu Iza Pramono from absent 34, and in this video I will read The Legend of Batu Bagaung from the page 12. Okay, start. Once upon a time, a king's daughter wanted to bathe in a river accompanied by 7 of her servants. Helped by 4 servants, the princess then washed her hair with special mixture. This mixture consists of sesame seeds and lime. Then fried sesame seeds were grounded until smooth and then mixed with lime juice. The princess used this mixture to wash her hair until her hair grew thick and beautiful. After washing her hair, the princess then soaked in the water. 4 of her servants also soaked near the princess. Meanwhile, the other 3 servants picked flowers that grew abundantly on the river bank. They would make decoration from the flower for the princess to wear after bathing. Suddenly, this calm and peaceful moment was broken by the arrival of powerful moving water waves. The sudden waves drowned the king's daughter and her 4 servants. Hearing news, an uproar hit the kingdom. All the kingdom's people and villagers flocked to look for the king's daughter. However, they were not found. The king was sad. He then remembered a sacred hermit who lived on the edge of forest, not far from his palace. The sacred hermit was often called Penjelaran because he was able to enter the underwater kingdom with the body remaining dry. Penjelaran then was summoned to come to the palace to meet the king. Wearing his trademark golden yellow apparel, Penjelaran came to appear in front of the king. "Your Majesty's daughter is still alive. Your Majesty must come to take her to the underwater kingdom yourself," he said. The king then expressed his willingness. Accompanied by Penjelaran, the king headed for the river. Penjelaran asked the king to close his eyes. As soon as the king was asked to open his eyes, he was in the kingdom. The kingdom was very busy, as if it were about to hold a party. But one thing surprised the king. He did not find any children in the kingdom. Most of them were old people who looked weak and helpless. Then Penjelaran invited the king to the underwater royal palace. To the guards of the palace gate, Penjelaran stated that he wanted to meet the underwater emperor. Penjelaran and the king were then taken to a magnificent hall. The underwater emperor came when Penjelaran and the king had sat on the beautiful gold-plated chairs provided for the great guests of the underwater kingdom. The underwater emperor wore beautiful, sparkling apparel as if made from plates of pure gold. He also wore a royal crown that was so sparkling that it was very difficult for the king to look at the face of the underwater emperor. Then the king conveyed his request to pick up his beloved daughter. However, the underwater emperor laughed out loud at the king's request. Then he mentioned the condition of his royal palace, which looked dirty. "Hasn't your Majesty seen the people of my kingdom? Our children are dead and remaining people are old in a miserable condition. They are weak and helpless. For your Majesty to know, it was all caused by your Majesty's daughter." The king was shocked to hear the words of the underwater emperor. How could all the damage be caused by my daughter? he asked. You know, exclaimed the underwater emperor. Your daughter likes to wash her hair with crushed sesame seeds, fried and then mixed with lime. Be aware, these ingredients are poison for our people. Our children suddenly died from that poison. Our elderly people have become weak and helpless. In fact, they stagger even when they walk. So, whoever does the damage, she must bear to, she must bear the consequence. Your daughter must be sacrificed for her bad deeds to us. The king was very sad to hear the explanation of the underwater emperor. He didn't expect at all that his only daughter's habits would have an impact on the underwater kingdom. The king then said, "Forgive my daughter's mistake, Your Majesty. In fact, she did not know at all that her actions had caused damage to Your Majesty's kingdom. Forgive the only daughter I have." The underwater emperor was silent for a moment. It was as if he could feel the king's pain if he had to part with his only daughter forever. He then said after contemplating, "Is Your Majesty willing to make an agreement with me? If your daughter returns to you?" The king immediately nodded his head. "I'm willing," he said firmly. "Very well, I have two agreements with you," said the underwater emperor. "First, all your people are not permitted to wash their hair in the river with a mixture of fried sesame seeds and lime. Second, this agreement continues for our descendants forever. How? Can Your Majesty accept this agreement?" The king had directly seen severe damage and destruction in the underwater kingdom due to his daughter's habit of washing her hair. He could feel the sadness of the underwater emperor. If his own people experienced such damage, he would not only be sad, but would be angry too. The king then firmly nodded his head. "Yes, I accept this agreement, Your Majesty. If this agreement is violated, then whoever violates it must pay compensation commensurate with the form of violation," said the underwater emperor. "Does Your Majesty also agree with my statement?" "I agree," answered the king. The underwater emperor immediately called his guard to take the king and Panjalaran to where the king's daughter was. The king was very shocked because he was taken to the god pen. In the god pen, the king did not see the princess and the 4 servants. All he saw were 5 gods, which immediately fled when they saw him coming. Before the king's astonishment had subsided, he also discovered that the underwater kingdom guards who had accompanied him had also disappeared. "Where are my daughter and her 4 servants?" asked the king. "So, what will we do?" Panjalaran then took the king's hand to take the 5 gods out of the god pen. As soon as the gods were removed from the god pen, the pillars of the underwater kingdom suddenly disappeared. Everything turned black. The king was forced to close his eyes. When he opened his eyes again, the king was on the river bank. He was not alone, but with Panjalaran and his only daughter and her 4 servants. The king's joy was indescribable to find that his daughter had returned. The king then gathered all the people he led in the royal square. In front of all his people, the king conveyed the agreement he had made with the underwater emperor. He prohibited all the people washing their hair using crushed fried sesame seeds mixed with lime. All of that will result in damage and destruction in the underwater kingdom. Can you accept my agreement? All the people expressed their approval. They felt that they had to help preserve the underwater kingdom. Everyone is punished according to the violation, continued the king. Since then, no one in the kingdom has dared to wash their hair using ingredients that are poisonous to the people of the underwater kingdom. They continued to obey the king's orders and did not dare to disobey them. Then they were afraid of being punished, whether by the king or the underwater emperor. It was said that the underwater kingdom, where the underwater emperor reigned, was located in a bay on the Lamandau River, which the people called Batu Bagong. Until now, the agreement between the king and the underwater emperor is still kept maintained. That's all from me. Thank you very much. Bye bye.